Hi, my name is Wisniewski. I'm a co-founder and CEO of OVR Technology. At OVR Technology, we believe VR has the potential to change the way that we think, behave, the way that we learn, the way that we interact with one another, the way that we heal, and the way that we play. And we believe that our oldest and most primal sense, smell, has the power to unlock that potential. Today, I'd like to introduce you to us, our technology, and where it's making an impact, with a special focus on how it's affecting our health and well-being. It's incredibly exciting to see just how far VR has come over the last few years. Many of these technological leaps have happened despite the impact of coronavirus, but some have actually happened as a direct result of it. There's an entirely new generation of VR headsets on the market that have advanced the quality of the virtual experience closer and closer to achieving the promise and dream of VR laid out in science fiction novels like Ready Player One. Untethered headsets like Quest and Pico allow us to move freely and unencumbered, while powerful systems like HP and Vario are reaching near human eye resolution and even collect biometric data that is akin to magic. 5G is on the verge of shifting computing power off headsets and onto edge servers, dropping the price of the HMDs and increasing access to the technology. And there are now over 5,000 published studies on the effect of virtual reality on healthcare related outcomes. Additionally, adoption has hit a stride. Last year, it's estimated that in Q4, we saw as many headsets sold as all the headsets sold in history up until that point. And last year, the FDA granted breakthrough device designation to applied VR, really effectively eliminating any doubt in the public mind about the power of virtual reality to heal. As we enter the next phase of immersive technology, our thinking is shifting away from can we do this, does this work, to how can we make this more powerful? How can we be more engaging, more attractive, and more competitive? Scent, as I mentioned, is our oldest and most primal sense, and it is pound for pound the easiest and most effective way to amplify the impact of virtual reality in health, wellness, and beyond. See, our sense of smell is unique from all of our other senses. It is the only one with a direct connection to the limbic system in our brains. The limbic system is where our memories and emotions live, and it's what drives many of our motivations and behaviors as well. Just think about all the times you've been walking down the street and caught a whiff of perfume or cookies or fresh cut grass and been instantly transported back in time. Now, our sense of smell operates under the radar of our conscious thought, so it's often undervalued or misunderstood, but that does not make it any less powerful. In a recent article in the New York Times by Brooke Jarvis, the thousands of people who have lost their sense of smell due to COVID report that it feels like they are living in a dreary black and white. By harnessing the power of smell in the virtual world, we can ensure those experiences never suffer the same fate. Now, we at OVR are far from the first people who have tried to do this. People have been trying to domesticate this mysterious for decades, even centuries. As far back as 3000 BC, ancient Egyptians were trying to capture the fleeting smell of flowers and spices. Marcel Proust writes about smell in his book, Remembrance of Things Past. And some of us are even lucky enough or unlucky enough to remember smell-o-vision in the 1960s. And even though smell-o-vision was a colossal failure, for some reason it resonated deeply with us even decades after its disappearance. As a culture, over time, we've only become more obsessed with scent. The home fragrance market alone was 7 billion in 2018 and rapidly growing. And what's interesting about VR is that it opens the door for a completely different approach to thinking about and harnessing the power of smell. It's allowed us at OVR to develop a platform that for the first time accurately recreates the sensory world in digital form. We call it the architecture of scent. It is the first multi-sensory VR platform that intelligently understands user behavior in the virtual world and translates it into real-time olfactory stimulation. By leveraging our patented microtechnology, our software framework, and our proprietary scentware library, the virtual world feels more real than ever before. Here's how it works. In the real world, smells are like this soup swirling chaotically around us in the air, and every time we breathe in, we get loads of information about our environment. See, we have reimagined that chaos as a set of predictable, invisible geometries, and as you collide with them in the virtual world, our technology device receives wireless signals to release the precise amount of scent at precisely the right time. It's also spatial and positional. As your distance from objects changes, the relative intensity of odors changes appropriately. Our current design has 9 separate odor chambers that create 9 distinct odors, as well as the ability to combine and create infinite amount of compound ones. All of the previous challenges like latent smells or timing precision or clunky heating elements and harsh solvents in the sense have been engineered away for an extremely realistic and safe experience. Really what all this means is more immersion, more effective VR, and better outcomes. Now, one of the challenges in adoption of a technology like this is, does it work? There's a great deal of research on the power of olfaction and a great deal of research on the power of VR, but very little that looks at the combined effect of both. So, one of the first studies on the impact of olfactory virtual reality on pain, stress, and anxiety was recently conducted at the University of Vermont Medical Center in their Department of Inpatient Psychiatry. Patients with a variety of different diagnoses spent time in a virtual camping environment where they could build a campfire and roast marshmallows and pick wildflowers or simply sit and just enjoy the forest breeze. Self reported data was taken immediately before, immediately after, and then again 1 to 3 hours after. And then patients were asked to answer a number of questions and rate their level of pain, stress, and anxiety on a scale of 1 through 10. Pretty straightforward. The preliminary results show incredible promise that OVR, in combination with inpatient standard of care treatment, has extremely positive effects. The study results were published in the Journal of Medical Research and Health Sciences earlier this year. And as you can see from a few of the patient anecdotes, the results were not only statistically significant, but also seem to have a real positive effect on patient emotions. The nature scene we designed for the study was not a random decision either. There's a great deal of evidence that being in nature and even looking at nature images promotes a sense of relaxation and well being. I think most of us can relate to the therapeutic feeling of being outdoors and inhaling fresh breaths of mountain or ocean air. But lots of people don't have the privilege to do that due to their health or circumstance. So, if one can't be outdoors, can the virtual outdoors make a difference? And not surprisingly, they can. But what's interesting is how much the smell of the outdoors matters. In a recent olfactory VR study in Sweden, measuring the stress response to urban environments versus nature environments, the subjects had the strongest physiological response to the smell of the environment, even when they reported the visuals being the most pleasant. Biometric data was measured throughout the experience, as well as compared to self reported qualitative data. The researchers noted that their conclusion that olfactory stimuli may in fact be better at facilitating stress reduction than just sight and sound on its own. Now, this may sound obvious that engaging more senses always produces a more potent response, but due to the unconscious nature of our sense of smell, it's a power that often gets overlooked. Not to mention, there has never been a technology capable of providing a genuine sensory experience until recently. Now, all this research is still preliminary and the technology is still new, but there are a number of exciting applications in health and wellness that have a lot of promise. By far, the most universal application is simply helping people relax. And as research shows, OVR can promote relaxation. What does that mean in practice? What are the intervention points where it actually makes sense to use olfactory virtual reality? Well, we asked a number of experts. During interviews with dozens of behavioral therapists and integrative health practitioners, we asked them how stress affects them, their patients, and how they might use OVR. And here's what we heard. First of all, people carry the weight and stress of their entire lives with them when they walk through the door to a clinic, and that stress has a very real effect on the experience they have during their appointment, the experience the physician has as well, and their ability to understand, process, and retain critical information about the course of treatment they might receive. Therefore, a 5 to 10 minute relaxation session prior to the appointment could make a huge difference. I mean, just imagine arriving at a doctor's office or a hospital, and instead of being immediately trapped in a cramped waiting room, you could relax on a mountaintop while David Attenborough guides you through breathing techniques and smelling different types of wildflowers. In the same way that a carefully crafted olfactory VR experience can help combat stress, it can also be used to create it. Because of the powerful link between smell and our memory centers, olfactory triggers play a major role in the symptoms of post traumatic stress disorder. We've been working for a while with Dr. Skip Rizzo to incorporate trigger smells like blood, feces, garbage, rotting flesh, burnt skin, burnt hair, and a number of other pleasant smells into his BraveMind platform. Now, BraveMind is a tool for mental health professionals to engage during exposure therapy for combat veterans suffering from post traumatic stress. Exposure therapy is the standard of care for managing PTSD, and it can be very difficult and uncomfortable process for the patient. The olfactory triggers embedded in the BraveMind program help the patient revisit and reprocess difficult memories more easily and efficiently. Now, we look at the VR universe right now, and it reminds me of our early universe. There's a lot of energy and a lot of potential. Matter is starting to coalesce around technologies, use cases, companies, and methodologies. Kind of planets are forming and solar systems are forming. And I believe that despite the nearly infinite possibilities and permutations of the VR universe, the one common language that we share is that of presence or immersion. And at OVR, we strive to increase presence and immersion, enhance outcomes, and amplify the power of the virtual reality for everyone in the growing field and everyone who gets to experience this incredible frontier technology. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and answer any questions.